You've seen us tear up ballistics gel with the big stuff, but how about something tiny like the 4.6x30? We're going to talk about that in this video. Gavin G here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm back with Guy Miner. Thank you, Guy, for your hard work on this story.
No, you bet. This is a lot of fun, actually. I don't know about hard work, except it was a little warm.
Well, and ballistics gel just takes work, period. Like I said in the intro, we've done a lot of ballistics gel testing, and 4.6x30 is something that's been on the list for a long time. In fact, since we did the initial story when CMMG launched the Banshee in 4.6x30. Now, you got multiple options for 5.7x28, including the AR platform. A lot of people are doing that. CMMG said, wouldn't it be fun to do its little brother, the 4.6x30? And it turns out it is just a ton of fun.
It is the little brother, and the little gun is a hoot, absolute hoot. So fun to shoot.
Yeah. So you're going to be shooting bullets from the 20s up to, we got 40 grain FMJ, which is actually heavy for caliber, if you can believe that.
When 40 grains is heavy, that's saying something.
We got some ammunition from Vanguard Outfitters. This is the EXP, the expanding. We've got the solid penetrator, and then we've got the Fiocchi 40 grain 4.6x30 that you saw in the original story. And you know, I've shot this quite a bit. I've actually shot it full auto, which is totally fun. I have a full auto lower. 100% functioning with full auto, with all of the different ammunition that we've tested. It's got a 40 round magazine. It uses a standard AR lower. There's really a lot to like here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even no issues running it full or semi-auto suppressed. That worked.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want something different, I think the 4.6x30 is definitely worth a look. Now, since the first story, we've changed componentry a little bit. We've got the CMMG DEFCAN 2 titanium 5.56 quick disconnect. I can't resist. I got to show you how cool this is. You push on it, you rotate, and then you've got the brake that's exposed there. You could do your cleaning or whatever it is that you want to do. Push, turn, and then you can actually clock the outside like that. So that is a cool can. And we got a lot of other 223 type stuff. We can try this with the Valkyrie, an AR in 5.56 or 223 Remington. We could, if we get a 5.7 in here in the house again, we could use it for that. A lot of different things.
I'm liking that idea on the Valkyrie, and go find some rock chucks.
Yes, they're out right now. Absolutely. And then from Zerotech, I don't know if you guys have heard from Zerotech. I just got this sight from them, and I got a tactical rifle scope. You're going to see in our 6GT barrel break-in video here very shortly. This is the Thrive HD 1x28 reflex sight. It's got a 3 MOA dot. This is the low config. They also have a high config. I think this would be great for a semi-auto pistol. It actually worked great on the AR pistol.
It did, you know, and a lot of times the AR platform, we're used to the sights being up higher. And that's fine. But this, I didn't mind it at all being right down there on the receiver. Not at all.
Yep. And it's got a really nice, clear red dot. It's got a really clean and simple design to it. Let's take the little rubber hood off there. It's really a nice looking unit.
It is.
Okay.
It has worked well too.
So let's talk about what it is we're going to show here. I've already talked about the different SKUs of ammunition here. And every time we come to ballistics gel, there's what we think is going to happen, and then there's what actually happened. So I had you write down on some white cards, before you did any of this stuff, no cheating, what you thought was going to happen. Now let's walk through those predictions.
Yeah, and just taking a look at it from experiences with different kinds of ammo and a little bit on gel blocks and hunting and all that stuff, penetration. So the 40 grain Fiocchi, I thought as a full metal jacket bullet, and I figured it probably won't deform and it'll probably penetrate through one of those 16-inch blocks, but I didn't know how much farther it might make it. That's what I was looking at. No expansion and full block penetration is what I figured.
This is a tiny powder charge in this guy.
It is.
And you've got a small diameter bullet. So it's like the whole thing has just been scaled down.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like an itty bitty 223 almost.
Yep. Plus we've got a pistol.
Right.
You know, we don't have a full carbine length barrel. I believe this is an 8-inch barrel.
I think it's an 8-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have a lot of room in there for it to pick up speed.
Yep.
So then the Vanguard, their penetrator round there, again, it's a monometal, and I didn't expect any expansion. And when you have no expansion, you usually get real good penetration. So I figured it'd make it through the whole block.
And that's a solid copper projectile.
Yep.
This is boutique ammunition, super high quality stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll get to that later, but boy, it surprised me with the velocity. So I was impressed.
Yep.
And then the expanding bolt, the EXP,
Okay.
and that also was solid copper and with just a hollow point in it.
And some SKUs, which are pretty
Yeah.
interesting. There's these little cuts basically, and so there's 4 petals once it
Right.
expands. You can see when you look at the bullet. Yep.
Right. And I expected to get some expansion, and when you get the expansion, it typically limits the penetration. I didn't expect it to go very far into that block.
Yeah. And
So-
31 grains versus 40 grains. That's 33% about.
Right. It's a lot lighter.
Yeah.
Faster, lighter,
Yeah.
expanding. I didn't expect it to penetrate as much.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that, let's talk about what actually did happen, starting with the 31 grain solid penetrator.
The solid penetrator did make it all the way through a 16-inch gel block and lodged barely inside the second block, like a quarter of an inch inside
Right.
there. That's where it ended up.
Yep.
I remarked when I pulled it out of the gel that it looked like, other than the rifling marks on it, it didn't look like it had even been fired. It was exactly the same shape, same point, same bearing surface, same little boat tail. Nothing had deformed on it at all.
And the final weight here of 31.12 grains is probably exactly what it started out as. It's slightly over the specified weight on the box. So we're calling that 100% weight retention.
Yep, I would say so, 100%
Yep.
weight retention.
And then the temporary wound channel, what we're doing there is we had a ruler on set, and we got that captured as a part of the scene. And in Photoshop, we're able to move that, you know, to look at penetration and to look at the wound channel, the temporary wound channel maximum expansion diameter. And that, for this particular cartridge, this particular ammunition SKU, was 5.5 inches.
Right.
And so obviously that's a lot less than what we're going to see with our 7 Rem Mag, what, 150s?
Yeah, well,
that
that
you
thing
did?
tossed the whole doggone block into the air.
That was 3,200, 3,300 feet per second,
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
3,200,
Yeah.
roughly. Yeah.
That's a
and-
lot of
Oh yeah, that was, you know, a bigger frontal area and 150 grains instead of 31 grains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
big difference.
we shot all the ammunition across the chronograph, 5 shots each, and for the 31 grain solid penetrator, we had 2,350 feet per second, an SD of 13.1, and an ES, a spread of 26. That is the tightest result. We'll get to the other results in just a moment, but that is, for this type of ammunition, super good.
This itty bitty little case and an 8-inch barrel, I didn't expect it to get up to 2,350.
No.
That's pretty impressive.
Usually with AR ammo, I'm looking at somewhere in the 20s, 23, 25, and I consider that, hey, it's an AR. That's great. It's not like I'm shooting at 1,000 yards here, unless I am with an AR, right? I'm talking about regular 5.56 ammo.
You know, and
Yeah.
speaking of that 1,000 yards, I look at this as a kind of a CQB type of gun, something up close, personal.
Yep.
You know, maybe a little longer range than your typical pistol. But yeah, I'm not looking at making a 300-yard shot with this.
No, not what it's for at all.
No.
And then the expanding ammunition. The temporary wound channel was 4.25 inches, a little
Right.
bit less, as you can see pretty clear in the picture. And very similar penetration. That was a bit of a surprise.
That surprised me. I expected it to make it half, maybe two-thirds way through that block and come to a halt. Nope, it went right into, just barely stuck into the second block.
Yep.
Yep.
And so there's a lot going on here with physics, right, in the moment. The final weight was 26.22 grains, 84.6% weight retention. That's actually really good. That's much better than I thought it would be. Depending on how far the petals expand and all that, you know, when we looked at the gel after it was shot, you can see some of the particulates in there.
Two broken off petals.
Yeah.
And they made their own little short wound tracks.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. I was kind of hoping all 4 of them would break off in there, but that's
Well,
okay.
I think this would definitely talk to a rock chuck. or a coyote or a ground squirrel and make a big impact on that critter.
Be fun to find out.
Yeah, I think this would probably do better than the solid penetrator.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the bullet's obviously deformed, mangled up a little bit, and it's going to inflict more damage on that animal, I think.
Yep. Now, Mr. Hooty Hoo did an interesting comparison on his channel with some body armor plates, and he compared 4.6x30 with 5.7x28. So if you're curious about this as a defensive scenario, I would probably prefer this bullet over the latter, the first one we talked about.
It's got basically the same penetration, and I think it has the potential to create more wound.
But still, there's so many options that, you know, this could likely be a varminting situation more than a, you know, home defense kind of thing. But that's up to each person to figure out. 2,366 feet per second, SD of 22.6. Right, this is more typical in an AR for me, and then an extreme spread of 63 feet per second.
Again, pretty darn good velocity. 2366 out of an 8-inch barrel.
Yeah, it makes me wonder.
Just a little pinch of powder in there.
What would it do with a 16?
Yeah.
You know?
16-inch, 18-inch barrel.
Yeah. Would it have diminishing returns to go above 16, I wonder?
I don't know.
With such a little powder charge. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. Drop a comment. Okay, and then the last ammo SKU was the Fiocchi 40 grain FMJ, which is really more plinking ammo.
It is good ammo. It had no malfunctions with it, except it left the blocks.
It did, which is so typical of FMJ ammo. What happens is the round slows down and it yaws, and as soon as it yaws, it just whoop, pops out.
Yep.
And so for the solid penetrator, we had 5.5-inch temporary wound channel. This we saw about 5-inch temporary wound channel. And we didn't have a resting penetration depth or a final weight or percent weight retention, although we can assume about 100% weight retention, right?
I would think so, yeah.
You can see the bullet on the high-speed camera. It didn't look even deformed
There's
at all.
no sign of it breaking up at all.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's retained its full weight. And again, the velocity.
Over 2,000 feet per second, 2017.8, SD of 45.7, not the best. ES 120. I'm kind of wondering if we had some sort of a chronograph error on that.
Maybe.
It could be that's the true extreme spread. But usually if I see something like that, I'll shoot another, you know, string. So in hindsight, if I had noticed that at the moment, we probably would have done that. But yeah, this is the cheap ammo, so we're not expecting
a
whole lot. Yeah.
It worked though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. So in the end, what's your thoughts?
I like that tiny and mighty. It's an itty bitty cartridge. It has some impressive characteristics. I love how easy the little CMMG is to handle and how easy it is to put rounds on target.
Yeah.
When I was down there in the steel yard plinking with it, sighting it in, plinking with it, it's like it couldn't miss.
Yeah.
So, and very quick transition because you have no recoil to speak of throwing you off. It's just this little bang, and of course once the suppressor got on there wasn't even a little bang.
Right.
Nice.
More of a crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way fun to shoot, easy to hit with, and 40 rounds?
40 rounds capacity. That is notable. These are proprietary mags that CMMG made as a part of the 4.6 project, and yeah, you're not going to beat that in that size.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Nice and light and handy. I don't think we ever put 40 in there, but it sure worked well. The magazine worked just fine.
Yep. So what would you want to do with this next then?
I should go seek some rock chucks.
I think so.
Yeah.
This would be the perfect cruising along in the side-by-side, and then just, you know, whip it out and let it fly.
Now, the problem with that is bear season opens in 2 weeks. I really don't want to rely on this when there's a bear.
No, this is not a bear round.
No.
I think we can pretty clearly state that.
Yeah. Rock chucks, yes. Bears, no.
Now,
That's just my expectations.
on the AR side of things, I am curious about something like the 458 SOCOM
for
for bear.
Yeah.
Because I know up in Alaska, that's a popular defensive scenario for bear.
I could see that. You know, there's a lot of power in a small, short package.
A lot of rounds.
Yes.
In case the first 5 or 10 don't work.
You think the next 5 or 10 might?
Well,
hopefully.
It's better than nothing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's better than throwing rocks.
Yeah. I ran out of ammo in a bolt action once, and the bear was still, yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of the varminting with this thing, even squirrels. I think this would be a lot of fun. And with the red dot, fast acquisition, on target super quick. And that's how we have to do things here sometimes when they're just peeking their head out for just a second, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Our question for you, well, a couple questions. First, what do you think about the 4.6x30? What do you think about the Vanguard ammo? What do you think about the Ballistics Gel, the results that we just shared? And then second, what would you do with this 4.6x30 yet that we haven't shown yet? We had a nice overview, a lot of info in the original story. Now we've showed you some terminal ballistic performance, some ballistics gel stuff. What would you want to see next? Maybe some comparisons or some other scenarios. I'd like to throw this on the recoil rig, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't think it's going to recoil much.
No, not a whole lot. Yep. So that concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.